Cadet Ella.
I'm Cadet Annie.
You've tuned in to EMIC Super Kid Academy.
We're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Super Kids, lions are known as king of the jungle, but did you know who the real king is? It is love, and today we're gonna see how love ruled and reigned in the life of Jesus and how it should be reigning in your life as well. So, stay tuned.
Super Kids, welcome to this week's broadcast.
This month we're learning how to love the people around us.
That's right, and we're wrapping up today by learning about the love of God and how it's the most important thing to Him.
First, we're gonna see how it affected God's offering and how it affected ours.
Let's tune in.
Welcome back to Lessons of Generosity. The most biggest gift and the most generous person in the whole world is God. John 3:16, for God loved the world so much that He gave His one and only Son, so that everyone who believes in Him will not perish but have eternal life. Because of God's great love, He gave His one and only Son, so that He expected to receive a huge harvest. That harvest was me and you. He wanted us to be a part of His family. So next time you give like God. Be generous and give to others in a heart of love.
1, 2, 1, 2. In the Word is a treasure, no measure. Take a peek and see, and find the uniqueness of the plan. So stand, take His hand, take the land. 'Cause it's your future in the Lord, man.
Seek and you will find His passion.
Turn to the Word and look into your future.
Knock and it will open to you.
Turn to the Lord and make Him your treasure.
Jesus, I'll make you my treasure. You're the one who holds my future plans. Jesus,
God's generosity of giving us Jesus is so amazing.
It sure is. I'm grateful every time I think about it. And you know, it makes it a lot easier to be what the Bible calls a cheerful giver when you know what God did for you.
Super kids, grab your spatulas. It's time for In the Kitchen.
We are so excited about In the Kitchen this month.
Yes, we're talking about how love is king.
That's right, and today's recipe has been on my heart for a long time.
Haha, I'm sure the super kids are going to love it. I can't heartfully wait. Get it?
Super Kids, today we're making heart-shaped Rice Krispie treats.
That sounds so much fun.
Right, Cadet Haley, can you please tell our Super Kids what we did before we came into the kitchen today?
Always, we washed our hands and asked it out for help.
That's right. Now, for your ingredients, all you need are 6 cups of Rice Krispie cereal, 4 cups of mini marshmallows, and 3 tablespoons of butter.
For your supplies, you'll need a saucepan and a spatula and a cooking pan and a heart-shaped cookie cutter.
All right, let's get started.
Right, Lieutenant, what's our first step?
All right, Super Kids, to start off, we're going to take our saucepan and put it on the heat, and then we're going to melt our butter.
How long does it take?
It takes just a little bit. So we're just gonna let it melt a little bit. You may stir it around, kind of mix it into little pieces. It'll take just a few minutes, so we gotta be a little patient. How long do you think it's gonna take for the butter to melt?
1,500 minutes.
1,500 minutes? That'd be a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll take quite that long. Maybe just a couple minutes.
Is it done now?
It's done. We're ready for our next step.
So, what do we do once the butter's melted?
We're going to take our marshmallows and pour them in, and then we're going to stir these and wait until they're melted.
More melting?
Yep, but it won't take that long. You know, Cadet Haley, patience is a really important thing to have when you're working in the kitchen.
Patience, like being able to wait?
That's right. Patience means that you're able to wait, but you're also able to have a good attitude while you do it.
Are they done now?
Not quite yet. Cadet Haley, why don't we have a Super Kid dance party while we wait on our marshmallows to melt? Ready? All right. Dancing while we're stirring. All right, Cadet Haley, now our marshmallows are finally melted. So we're going to take our melted marshmallows and pour them over our cereal.
And we'll take our fingers to smooth it up.
That's right. Once we get them into our pan, then we'll get it all smoothed out. It's got to cool for just a minute, though. So now we're going to take our spoon, and we will get all of these mixed together. Cadet Haley, what are you most excited about for today's recipe?
To eat it.
To eat it. I think it's going to be really yummy. So it's just going to take a few minutes for us to get all of these mixed up in here. So just a little bit more patience like we've been talking about. Okay, Super Kids, so we got all of our marshmallows mixed in with our cereal, and then we poured it all into this pan. And now we're just having to wait a few more minutes so that it can harden up. So what have you thought about all this waiting today, Cadet Haley?
It was kind of a lot of waiting.
And sometimes waiting can be a little difficult, right?
And
But-
it can be really hard.
That's right. What are we as Super Kids, though?
We're patient people.
We are patient people. And in our Super Kid manual in 1 Corinthians 13:4, it says that love is patient. This month we're talking about how love is king. And when you walk in love, Super Kids, you also walk in patience. So now that we've been patient and we've waited on our Rice Krispies, we're going to take our heart-shaped cookie cutters and we're going to cut them into heart shapes. Alrighty. So then it'll probably be a little sticky.
These turned out really good.
Yep, they're cute little hearts. Are you excited to try them, Cadet Haley?
Yeah.
Alrighty, here we go. What do you think, Cadet Haley?
It's really good.
They are super tasty. Do you think it was worth the wait? Me too. All right, let's hang up our aprons.
And clean those spatulas. This has been
In the Kitchen.
In Isaiah chapter 9, verse 7, it says, his government, talking about Jesus, and his peace will never end. Jesus Christ is a king. He's the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. But did you know that King also ruled and reigned in his life and his ministry? Take a journey with me and let's find out. In Matthew chapter 14, verse 14, it says, when Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and he healed their sick. The reason why Jesus opened blind eyes, cleansed the lepers, opened deaf ears was all because of love. Matthew chapter 15, verse 32, Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion for these people, for they have already been with me 3 days and have not eaten anything. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way. I love this because Jesus didn't only minister to our spiritual needs and to people's spiritual needs, but he also ministered to their physical needs as well because of love. Mark chapter 6, verse 34, when Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. You know, whenever I read through the Gospels, it seems like Jesus was always teaching and preaching all the time. I think, how in the world did he do that? But now I realize his driving force was love. And then John chapter 3, verse 16, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whosoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. The plan of salvation began with love. Jesus came from heaven to earth, and he died on the cross because of love. But the journey to the cross, it wasn't the easiest one. In John chapter 19, verses 17 through 19, it says, so they took Jesus away, carrying the cross by himself. He went to the place of the skull, which is also called Golgotha. There he was nailed to the cross, and 2 others were crucified with him, one on either side, with Jesus between them. And Pilate posted a sign on the cross that read, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. So many people saw and knew that he was a king. But we know that the real king was love himself. That's who Jesus was. And you may ask yourself, well, I know he came, he did all these things because of love, but what was his main focus? Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2 says, because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and now he is seated in the place of honor besides God's throne. Jesus came to earth, he died on the cross, he rose again because of you, super kids. That's why he did what he did, so that we could be part of his family. And just how love was ruling and reigning in his life, it needs to rule and reign in our lives as well. Mark chapter 12, verses 30 through 31 says, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And then the second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. Super kids, the biggest thing that you want to reign and rule in your life is love. Let it be a shining jewel that's on a crown. Whenever people are nice to you, and when they're not so nice, like lions, always remain in love, because love is king in Jesus' life, and love needs to be king in your life as well.
Lieutenant Aubrey, I know we've been learning about how love is the right thing, but how are we supposed to always do the right thing?
That's a great question, Cadet. And Super Kids, she asked at the perfect time, because we're about to find out in today's Witness Zone what happens when a Super Kid does the right thing versus the wrong thing.
You're about to enter a zone unlike any other. A place where normal, everyday life becomes anything but, and everyday conversations go from ordinary to shocking in the blink of an eye. This is a place where eternal choices are made, where faith meets fear, and boldness meets hesitation. It's a zone where kids can become history makers or bolt like a runaway train. So buckle up your seatbelts, get ready for the ride. You're about to enter the Witness Zone.
Hey, Megan.
Hey, bestie.
Megan, I missed you.
What'd you bring for lunch today?
Pizza? You?
Tuna.
Gross. Tuna smells. You know, I want someone else to sit by me today. I mean,
You know, that seat's actually already taken.
But no one's sitting there.
I'm gonna get someone else to sit by me today. Nancy, come over here.
Yesterday, you said we were best friends, and we've sat together every day, all year.
Here's the deal, Meggie.
It's Megan.
Whatever you say, Melody. I'm on my way to be the most popular girl in school, but I'll never make it with you and your smelly tuna. Hashtag ew.
But okay, what does my tuna have to do with this?
Everything.
What?
Ugh, whatever. You'll never be popular. And don't you have someone else you can sit with?
I just wanted to sit by my best friend, and now she won't let me sit with her because I have dinner for lunch.
What you just witnessed was the witness zone door slammed shut. Megan learned that people aren't always who they say they are. And Nancy, well, she took the chance to be popular. Nancy, let's try that again. But remember, Proverbs 17:17 says, a friend is always loyal.
Hey, Megan.
Hey, bestie.
Megan, I missed you.
What'd you bring for lunch today?
Pizza. You?
Tuna.
Gross. Tuna smells. You know, I actually want to sit by someone else today. Nancy, come over here.
Here's the deal, Em. You're not kind to people at all. You just care about people when it's helpful to you. And also, a true friend is loyal and loves at all times.
Okay, but...
Come on, Megan. You can come sit with me and my friends. We accept you and your tuna.
Thanks.
You can come too, Em.
Really?
For sure. Everyone deserves a second chance. Promise to be kind this time, though?
I promise.
Well, there you have it. Another open door, another victory. A challenge given and a challenge met. Nancy showed Megan what it is to be a true friend. A true friend will always be there for you in your time of need. This is The Zone that challenges every super kid to ask themselves, what will I do the next time I'm in the witness zone?
Lieutenant Aubrey!
Hey, Flash, what's going on? You seem excited.
I was kind of a new kid at school, like you said.
Really? What happened?
Well, at first he was shocked that I even took time to say hello. But then I asked him to play kickball with me, and we had a great time. And the more I got to know him, I really liked him.
That's amazing, Flash.
And I found out why his clothes aren't the coolest.
Really?
His dad recently lost his job, and that's why they moved here, so he can find new work. It seems like his parents don't have a lot of money right now.
Well, you see, Flash, that's why we don't ever make fun of people, because we may not know what they're going through.
I told my family about his situation, and my mom made his family a couple of meals. My dad gave his dad some gas money, and I went through my closet and picked out some of my nice clothes I never wear because I've been blessed with a lot.
Wow, Flash, do you see how your one act of kindness opened a whole ripple effect? Just because you said hello, your whole family is getting to minister to his family.
I used to think of talking about love was gross, but now I realize how powerful loving people is.
That's right. Love is a powerful force. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13 says, 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Our jobs may come and go, our seasons in life may come and go, but love will never fail.
Hey, Super Kids, you have tuned in to Back to the Bible. You know, Judges 7 in our Super Kid manual tells us the Bible story about Gideon and his worship. The Lord said to Gideon, "You have too many warriors with you. If I let all of you fight the Midianites, the Israelites will boast to me that they saved themselves by their own strength. So tell the people, if you are scared, leave and go home." And 22,000 of them went home, leaving only 10,000 who were willing to fight. But the Lord still said to Gideon, "There are still too many. Bring them down to the water, and I will test them to see who will go with you." Gideon took his warriors down to the water, and the Lord told him, "Divide the men into 2 groups. In one group, put all those who cup water in their hands and lap it up with their tongues like dogs. In the other group, Put all those who kneel down and drink with their mouths in the stream." Only 300 of the men drank with their hands. All the others got down on their knees and drank with their mouths in the stream. Then God told him that with these 300 warriors, I will give you victory. The Midianite camp was in the valley just below where Gideon was located. And that night, the Lord said, "Get up, go into the Midianite camp, for I have given you victory over them. But if you are afraid to attack, go down to the camp with your servant. Listen to what the Midianites are saying, and you will be greatly encouraged. Then you will be eager to attack." So Gideon and his servants went down to the edge of the enemy camp. Gideon crept up just as a man was telling his friend about a dream. The man said, "I had this dream, and in my dream, a loaf of barley bread came tumbling down into the Midianite camp. It hit a tent, turned it over, and knocked it flat." His friend answered, "Your dream can mean only one thing. God has given Gideon the victory." When Gideon heard this, he bowed in worship before the Lord. Then Gideon returned to the Israelite camp and shouted, "Get up, for the Lord has given you victory." He divided the 300 men into 3 groups and gave each man a ram's horn and a clay jar with a torch in it. He said to them, "Keep your eyes on me. When I come to the edge of the camp, do just as I do. As soon as I and those with me blow the ram's horns, blow your horns too, all around the entire camp, and shout, 'For the Lord and for Gideon.'" It was just after midnight when they reached the edge of the Midianite camp. They blew the ram's horns and broke their clay jars, and they all shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." They stood around the camp and watched as all the Midianites rushed around in a panic. Shouting as they ran to escape, they began fighting against each other. And Gideon's army had the victory because of the Lord. Thanks for tuning into Back to the Bible.
Let's go back in time and look at the real deal. This month, we've been learning about the love of God. Someone who showed us what the love of God looks like through his actions in life was Martin Luther King Jr. He was one of the most important people in the civil rights movement. Martin was born in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15, 1929. His father was a pastor and his mother was a teacher. Because of this, he grew up knowing God and learning about the Bible. When Martin was a teenager, the United States was still segregating. That means that people were told where they could go and what they could do based on the color of their skin. Even though he had gone to a segregated school, he was able to get into college at the age of 15. He studied law and medicine. Then, in 1948, Mr. King decided to go to seminary like his father. He had never planned on being a preacher. Although Martin Luther was attending a mostly white school, he was such a relatable person and was so good at speaking that he was elected president of his class in seminary. He went on to earn a doctorate in systematic theology. He then moved to Montgomery, Alabama, where he became a pastor of a church. While in Montgomery, Dr. King became heavily involved in the civil rights movement. His main part in the movement was to head the Montgomery bus boycott after Rosa Parks was arrested for not giving up her seat on the bus. This protest lasted for a year and finally ended when the Supreme Court ruled that it was unconstitutional for buses to be segregated. Dr. King went on to found the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, a Christian group dedicated to helping all African Americans achieve equality in a nonviolent way. Then, on August 28, 1963, he led a March on Washington, which was attended by almost 300,000 people. During this march, he gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech, which was all about equality in America. In 1965, African Americans were given the right to vote in the 15th Constitutional Amendment. This was able to happen in large part because of what Dr. King had done. Martin Luther King Jr. demonstrated the love of God in his life. Through adversity, he decided to respond in love. Because of that decision, Dr. King was able to change the world. This has been The Real Deal.
Super Kids, I hope you've been paying a lot of attention today.
Me too, because not only has there been a lot of good information, but there's also a test. But don't worry, it's a fun one. It's time for Pop Quiz.
Let's pop in for Pop Quiz. Where is our memory verse found? 2 Corinthians 13:13, 1 Corinthians 12:12, 1 Corinthians 13:13, or Genesis 1:1. 1 Corinthians 13:13. Fabulous. In the witness zone, which kind of sandwich did Megan have that was gross? Tuna, turkey with cheese, chicken salad, or marshmallow fluff? It was tuna. What was our theme this month? Masterpiece, love is king, love is Jesus, love is pink. That's right, Super Kids. You beat this pop quiz.
Well, I guess it's time to wrap up the last broadcast of the month.
That's right. We've learned all about showing others the love of God and experiencing it for ourselves.
Super Kids, as you go about your days, just take the time to remember this broadcast. God loves you, and you need to share that with everybody around you.
Signing off.
So today is the last day of our series called Love is King. So let's find the true definition of what love really is from the Bible. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it says in verse 4, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritable. It keeps no records of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Super Kids, remember to make love king and rule and reign in your life. We saw that in the life of Jesus, how he was forgiving towards Peter. We saw that how love is kind, love lives on the inside of us, what Commander Kelly taught us about. So let love be the king of your life as well.
Super Kid Academy, ordinary kids doing extraordinary things. Signing off now.
Thank you for watching Super Kid Academy at Eagle Mountain International Church. Kids, get your parents' permission and visit us on Instagram, Facebook, or at emic.org. We'll see you next time at Super Kid Academy.